Hi Rosy friends, it's Julie, and today I'd like to talk about sunscreen. That is a topic I have covered bits at a time in the past when I've kind of reviewed individual sunscreen products, and it's actually the way that this channel started was that I had thought that I'd found a sunscreen that worked. I used it for years and then it stopped working, and I was so frustrated that I couldn't just talk about it on my blog. I had to actually talk about it verbally. I couldn't just write it and, you know, try and be cute about it and things like that. I was so frustrated that I actually needed to make a video, and so I did. So that's actually how the whole channel got started, so I can totally understand why I'm always getting so many questions about what sunscreen I prefer, because when you have rosacea, sun is the most common trigger. It's why my face is a little bit pink right now, because I just ran to the corner store. It's about 5 minutes away, so I didn't put sunscreen on because I have this hat on, which is completely stupid, and I will tell you why. A lot of you probably know, but I'll tell you why when I get going. So sunscreen is so important because the sun is such a huge trigger for us, and yet it's so hard to find a sunscreen that won't irritate or cause a flare-up of its own. So when I did my initial video, the very first one on this channel, it was about how I had luck with an Aveeno sunscreen for a really long time. I used that for years. It was the baby one. I could alternate between the baby and the sensitive skin one. And suddenly, one year, every single time I applied it, it caused my skin to flare. It was so frustrating because then I had to go, as you know, through the process of starting over and trial and error and testing it, and it's very expensive. I end up handing out a lot of sunscreens that don't work for me out to other people in my life because, you know, testing something out. And a lot of sunscreens you can't test in the store. They don't have a sample. It's not like a lipstick or something like that. So I thought that instead of listing all the ones that I've tried that don't work, I'll just talk specifically about my favorites that I use right now. I've used so many that I don't even really remember which ones I've tried anymore in the past, and I didn't keep all of their packages because I wasn't doing that yet. So the ones that I'm going to talk about now are the ones that I regularly use. As I said, I also, I just went walking, and this is basically the hat that I wear if I'm going out and I'm running to the store, or I'm running down the street to visit a neighbor or that kind of thing. This basically, my neighbors actually know me by this hat. There have been times when I've been out and I'll pass them and they don't actually know me because I don't have this hat on. That's how much I wear this. But this is not actually good enough if I'm going to be out there for quite some time. It doesn't give any coverage from the sides or behind or anything like that. This is just basically, and it only protects from about here even if the sun is coming straight at me. So I throw this on just for a little bit of added coverage on basically the tops of my cheeks and things, the areas that are actually affected the most, as long as I'm just going to be out there a really short time. I wear my sunglasses as well. They are big, so they provide even more coverage than my regular glasses. So I've got that much going on just if I want to run down the street for a very short period of time, or if I go out on my balcony first thing in the morning to water my garden. If I'm going out any longer than that, then I will need sunscreen. Typically speaking, if I'm not going out somewhere, because I walk dogs every morning, so if I'm going out to walk dogs, I'll wear this hat and a whole pile of sunscreen and sunglasses and things, because I can't do anything other than that. I have both hands busy because there are two dogs, and I can't wear something that is going to blow off my head if it's windy, because this hat I can put my ponytail through, so it basically holds it on. Even if the hat flips up, I can just smack it back down again with my wrist. So that's what I wear if I'm just going to walk my dog. If I'm going anywhere else, if I'm going to be sitting out where it's sunny, or if I'm going for a stroll without the dogs, it's not exercise walking, but it's just going out to, you know, hang out with somebody, or, you know, strolling along where the stores are downtown or something like that, then I take some added precautions. That would be, for example, really big hats. This is my new one this year that I'm super excited about, because I also have a whole pile of scarves, so I can actually tie these around. And okay, that looks terrible, but just believe me, it's gonna look nice when it happens. But I can either wear it plain, or I can tie any of a number of different scarves around it. And even on Canada Day when it comes, I'll be covered. So yeah, so I have all these scarves and things that I can dress it up, or I can just wear it plain. like this, and it's just a big huge hat with a massive brim that goes all the way around, and it provides really, really good sun coverage. If I'm not really walking very far, or if I'm just going to be sitting, for example, if I'm sitting on my balcony or I'm sitting on somebody's patio or deck or just relaxing in the sun, I also have Parasols. Trying to bring these back into style because for one thing, they are really beautiful. They feel really dainty and pretty. They're really fun to use. And I like to get, you know, I now have 3 of them, so I have purple, blue, and red, but it's nice to have different colors to feel like it's matching an outfit, and then I can sit there and just provide myself with a little bit of shade, and it's not just a regular rain umbrella. Other than that, I do look for shade and things, but down to the actual products themselves for sunscreen, there are 3 that I use on a regular basis. The first is this one here. It's La Roche-Posay. I don't know if you say that Anthelios or Anthelios, but either way, it is an ultralight product, and it's a liquid instead of, well, they're calling it a fluid instead of a like a cream. I'll see if this is right at the end of the bottle. So, well, it has like a little bead in it to help shake it up. But, okay, it's just not going to be, but you can see how runny it is. There we go. It's very, very much a liquid. And I've just, as you saw, run out of this one, but I have another box of it in here to get started again because I do really like it. This is the only chemical-based sunscreen that I can use without a flare-up, and this is actually a really nice product. I'm not wild about chemical sunscreens because I've been reading into the ingredients, and it's really scary. There are a lot of hormone interrupters and things that sink into your skin and they just wreak havoc in your body. But that said, I don't feel that I have too much of a choice in terms of what I do. I have to wear sunscreen, and there are times when I have to wear it pretty intensely, and this one is a 60. It has really, really good protection. It rubs in very nicely. There is absolutely nothing greasy left behind, and it does not make my skin flare up. I don't know if that's the same for all rosacea patients, but for me, this does absolutely nothing in terms of flaring up. It sits nicely under makeup. I don't wear makeup all that often, but if I do and I have to be outside, then this is underneath it sometimes. Alternately, I'll use another one that I'm about to talk about. I like using the other one more, but this is the one that I will wear, for example, when I'm walking dogs, when I'm going to be out in the sun for a while and I'm exercising and things like that, if I'm going to be sweaty, if I know that I'm going to be in a lot of really direct sunlight and there is nothing I can do about it, that's the one that I'll usually wear on my face. I also like the fact that it washes off really easily because sunscreen is usually pretty hard to get off. And my strategy with sunscreen is pretty much to put it on 15 minutes before going out and then wash it off the first moment I possibly can. So I'm out with the dogs. Normally I'm out for around an hour, so I put it on 15 minutes before going. I go out, I get the dogs ready, I walk them, I come home, and I wash the stuff off my face. So it's on there as little as possible because even the really good stuff, I don't want it on there, especially the chemical stuff. So after La Roche-Posay, my next one that I use, and I use this for completely different reasons, is the Celtic Complexion. This is amazing, amazing stuff. And I like this. This is actually the organic sunscreen. It's completely chemical free. It's made with zinc oxide. I like this, and I also like, I don't have it here, but I do have it somewhere, and it is their Tinted Moisturizer because it also has a sunscreen built into it. This one comes out white on your skin a little bit, not much, not compared to a lot of other natural sunscreens. It actually does blend quite nicely. The Tinted Moisturizer, it also has like a color to it, but it's also tinted, so it's not white, it's more, you can match it to your skin tone a little bit better. That said, this sits beautifully under makeup, and it is absolutely not greasy. It goes on kind of, I wouldn't say a powdery finish, I don't really know. It's a very dry finish though, without being drying. So I can put this on and then put makeup on top. So if I'm going to an outdoor event where I feel like I need to look really nice, I can put this on under makeup, and it is wonderful. And this, it says that the SPF is 32, but I find that the coverage is the same as the 60. I get the exact same protection from it. My skin is just as happy either way, and this does not irritate my skin at all. The downside I would have to this one, even though I think the reason that I actually use this one as well, and I don't just use this all the time, because ideally I would want to use this all the time, is that I live in Canada, and this is made and sold exclusively in the United States, so shipping is a little bit on the costly side when you're living on a bit of a budget like I am. And the other thing is that this is a little bit more challenging to get off. Which is good in that you can't accidentally wipe it off as easily or anything, but it does mean that you need a two-step process to get it off. Normally I use coconut oil or jojoba oil or one of the oils. I even have grapeseed oil next to in my bathroom that you can use to get this off, and then I use my regular cleanser to get that off. So it does take a two-step process to get it off, but ideally, actually, this is the one that I would use all the time if I could afford it. My skin absolutely loves this. It does well under makeup, it does well without makeup. Because I am super duper pale, the whiteness of it really doesn't look bad on me. It actually just gives a little bit of redness coverage for me, and I don't mind that at all. So I really don't, about wearing this, I don't really have any complaints. So when I become a millionaire, I will be using this exclusively for my face. And finally, just as a side note, this here, it's called Substance. It's from the Matter Company. They have a lot of baby, all natural baby products. And this one's SPF 50, and it's made with organic shea butter and green tea extract. This is also all natural, made with the same zinc oxide that you would find in this one. And it has excellent protection. I just can't seem to figure out how to use it on my face because this leaves a huge amount of whiteness behind. I don't know if you can see when it comes out very thick. Like this. It is very, very white. And let's see if I can do this with any grace. If you put it on, it's just white. And it doesn't matter how much you rub it in, it's white. So, sorry, it's very, very bright in here because of all the sunlight coming in, but it doesn't matter how much I rub this or spread this or anything. Like, you can tell the difference between my two hands now. Well, actually, this one, you can't even see the freckles all that much anymore, but one is way whiter than the other. And then you go like this, and you've got white all over. So I really, I can't use this on my face, and I have a really hard time. I can use this very, very, very sparingly in some ways, but I would love to be able to figure out how to use this without making a mess. The only thing that I've figured out so far is to add skin oils or mix it in with a lotion, another lotion that I can use, and that way I can do it and it kind of thins it out, but that probably reduces the sun protection too. So I did want to bring this up because it's an awesome product. If you don't mind, you know, if you're wearing a lot of white or light clothes. I wear dark clothes all the time, but yep, so that is a really good company. It's a really trustworthy product. I love it, except when it gets all over my stuff. That said, it does wash, like, that's what I didn't hesitate really to go like that. Once I throw this in the wash, even though I'm using, you know, I'm just using soap nuts still, they wash it right out, so there is no problem getting it out. It's just that you have to live with it until you launder your clothing. I did want to point that, I mean, I just wanted to say that's why I don't really use it on my face, because that actually looks like white clown makeup, but it is a really, really good product. If you know how to use a product like that and not get it all over yourself, or know how to blend it in properly, then it is completely worthwhile because it's excellent. And it's really, the chemical products are really something that you don't want to be using a lot of, especially over a large surface of your skin, because your skin is an organ and it does absorb things. So you do want to be really careful. So I bought the huge tub of it again this year, tube of it I mean, and I do plan to figure out how to work it because I really like this product. And finally, another little thing that I wanted to note is that I also I've talked about this one before too. This was actually in my Rosy Life kit. If you remember when I was offering that at the end of last year. And oh, it seems to be focusing in on my face. Let's see if we can get it to focus on. Nope, it really wants to focus on me. It's just chasing me around. There we go. Yeah, so that's just, it's a regular Blistex product. It's a lip balm and it has SPF 15 in it. So I always use this before going out. not only because I have dry lips, so I want to use this, but it has an extra sun protection, and I think that that's super important too if you're doing your whole face and you don't want to forget about your lips or your ears for that matter, just as a little side note. Other than that, I do take a lot of care to wash everything off first thing that I can, even the all natural stuff. So that is pretty much my sun protection routine. A lot of it has to do with just blocking it in the first place, with wearing big hats and stuff like that. But when I can't, I do use these products. I use them as little as I possibly can, so I don't use them when I'm indoors. I don't use them if I'm just running across the street or something like that, but I do use them year round, and I feel that that's really important. So that was quite the babble, but I do hope that you found it useful or helpful or interesting or entertaining. What kind of sunscreen do you use? I'm just curious because these 3 products that I have here are the only ones that I know that work for me that don't cause a flare-up. So I am curious to know if anybody has had any luck with anything else. How long do you wear your sunscreen, and does it actually cause irritation or anything like that? Or do you find that you can get away without it? Because that will make me hugely jealous. But yeah, I am interested. I'm always looking to try out new things. I'm happy with the ones that I have, but I would be curious to have alternatives, because you never know if something's going to be discontinued or if the formula is going to change, or when my skin is going to change its own mind, which is what happened with the Aveeno a few years back. So yeah, I hope you'll share that with me. I am super interested, as I said. Other than that, I hope you did like this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this where I talk about various topics and I try different products and things like that, then I hope you'll subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. And other than that, I will see you next time.